Hello folks and welcome back to map number 2 of the best of 3 series with Isurus Gaming and Sharks. Here we are, of course, after a 16-11 victory in map 1 to Isurus. Now they're over on Dust 2, their map pick, to try and finish this one off. We're going to see the flashes come towards long. We'll have to see now how this push pans out as they do begin their charge on up. Let's see what is going to happen here. Slow and steady seems to be the approach, just shoulder peeking off the corner. Numbers is playing back sight, so we'll be spotting it, but tapped down by a Glock. Crew to force him to fall back a little bit, not take as wide open of a duel as the rotates begin to come through. What's interesting though is where's the bomb, boys? The bomb's in T-spawn, which is well, going to be problematic, I think, for them. Well, it's going to be relying on the duels, I think. So far, so good at least though. The duels just go their way. We're going to see not a single trade just yet for Isurus as the Glocks overwhelm them on the A site. Mayan struggling to land a thing as well. You're not going to see one jumping shot, but that'll be quickly punished. And from there, the bomb becomes meaningless. The Sharks will win out the round without caring. Now, scout combination, SMG as well in play. Talking of scouts, look at the CT side. It's all in play. Fortunately, not really going to work out for them if the B play comes through. I say that, and then it's a pretty nasty shot. Unfortunately, it's not really got a huge amount of stopping power. It looks like a nade is going to land it. Ooh, it bounces off the brickwork. It doesn't actually land on his feet, so he'll get away. He'll live to fight another day. Unfortunately, though, the AK, he'll just chew them up. Leo going for the stray transfer there as he finds Mayan. We'll leave just Max now all on his own. Just to CZ in play as he's going to be smoked off as well. That'll guarantee the bomb plant and pretty much solidify that this will be a round for Sharks here. Looks like he's just going to sit lower tunnels, see if maybe he can get an exit or two. It looks like no one will go his way though. Exit, in fact, ironically just holding the exit for his team. I think it goes without saying, it's been a much better start for Sharks overall here. If they can keep it going now throughout this round and on into round 4, which will be our bye, then we'll be quite surprised at the result of Dust 2, I think. But very early days so far. Isurus just going to see effectively in a full stack towards B. Only one player just spotting A. We'll actually spot something and actually get the headshot for his trouble, so not all bad. Baiting Nax shot as well, see if they can maybe swing out wide, take him down here, but it's not going to come through. Noxie has pushed up close, does get the dink, but unfortunately not able to finish it off. They will chase, but unable to commit for that kill. Reverse him down next in line, he'll hit the deck as well. Looks like we'll see a similar result for every member of the CT side. Maxu will strike back with a CZ, but I think we're pretty much done now. 1 HP is all that he has. Only one player remaining for the CT side. This should be a pretty easy one to wrap up for Sharks. I think a scout flick, in fact, just to finish it off. Lovely start, a 3-0 start. This is the round we're waiting for, though. Isurus back on the buy. AWP comes out. Double AWP, in fact, comes out. And the triple AWP setup. Looks iconic for Dust 2 now. Fairly standard default coming in from Sharks though, just taking short control, securing lower tunnels, leaving a player upper B tunnels as well, just to make sure that Isurus don't try anything too crazy. As then they'll group up and start to take a bit of long control as well, I imagine, making that decision now that the A site is going to be their target. It's worth noting that both of those AWPs are located towards A, one of which is on car, so that'll be looking towards short, and one of which is now rotating away, moving into CT. This is where things get interesting. Leo comes out, pretty much taps numbers out the server, and will begin to rotate back. Noxie's going to be good for one, but that's all that will come through. And with the quick trade, but potentially not going to be enough as the smoke's coming across the site and covering the cross, allowing the bomb to get on over. It is a dead 3-on-3, but the opportunities running fairly scarce, I think, for the CT side. Maybe if they can crouch through, get a boost up here, catch them by surprise, that might be an option, but tough sell, given that they are ready and waiting. Maxu now, all that remains. Limited hope for him. He's just going to try and creep away, carry that all forward into round 5. Sharks have just been absolutely flawless in the first couple of rounds here. Not a single mistake being made. Great play from RCF there to get the double kill as they did try and go for the elevator boost. Just locking down every single part of the round. The pistol goes their way, the follow-up as well. And now the first buy would add the cherry on top. 4 rounds back-to-back. A 5th looking likely here as it is just going to be pistols once more for the Isurus side. Seeing a few mentions of the odds in chat, so no better time to take a look, really, is there? Let's see. Should come up there. There we go. 1.63 versus the 2.18. The overall live odds right now for the series. That is total maps, as you can see. Still thinks we're on train, though, unfortunately, but that is just a text update. The odds are accurate at 1.63 to 2.18. Find those, of course, over on GGBet. Now, with that said, that's been a fairly slow round here for Sharks, but rightfully so. They're up against these pistols, don't need to take any risks, give them the opportunities to do anything. That's going to be cleaning up fairly comfortably. We see 1 or 2 kills maybe come through, and Oxy getting the first there with a P250 in fact, but for the most part it will be locked up fairly comfortably. We are going to see that 5th round come through. Now, this is where things get important once more for Isurus. You have the double up setup, you've got all the money to spend. What are you going to do with it? You've got to get into this one sooner rather than later. Otherwise, we're going to see an interesting scenario develop. One where Sharks completely bomb out their first map pick. And Isurus then repeat that for them in their map pick as well. So, neither team able to perform right now on the maps they expected. Well, very early days, we'll have to see, but so far remaining very positive about what Sharks have brought to the table here. Good utility usage will force them back somewhat though. Unable to really take advantage of short just yet. Will miss the opportunity though to get a quick pick through mid. However, it does have the information that they are trying to fight around that short area, so that will be rather useful for the CT side as the flash will be thrown. And 2 players there will try and take that duel. RCF close and personal finds not only 1, but a chance at a 2nd. We do see the flick come through from the AWP though. That allows numbers to take the duel close stairs. And ultimately, it's a double kill. With a frag on towards short, we see the advantage swing hugely in favour of the CT side. As the bomb is trapped, it's a 4v2. Make that a 4v1 even as Exit gets caught on Xbox. Making just a rather awkward situation all round, to be honest. Wrapped up perfectly by Noxie. Isurus, there's your first. Let's see if you can keep it going. Well, Sharks, not a huge amount of money built up, but 2 players will be effectively the bank of the team right now. I'll make that 3, they got 8k. Leo and he will struggle somewhat, as they have very limited cash left. Dust 2 almost falling eerily silent. Nothing taking place just yet, just Isurus clearing out each part of the map. They were able to bag a kill early on with the AWP, but nothing more. In the last 20 seconds or so, short control was being hinted at there. Numbers getting a flash thrown through him as he shoulder peeks the corner, then decides, you know what, I'm actually just going to throw the smoke, play it safe. It's the right call, given that his opponent is there ready and waiting with the AWP. Hoping that he would push to make it a 4v4 and really nice to just equalise for Sharks. Fortunately though, hasn't happened for them. Instead they'll have to resort to trying to work their way up through long as short control completely out of the question. But hey, they've got tunnels, so at least there's that. But they have the utility to work out through long. I mean, they don't have... Well, they got the 2 smokes, I suppose. Whether they can even get up to long, though, is a different question completely. It looks like they will, though. Both smokes come through. That does allow them to cross. This is where things get a little hairy now for the CT side. They do have short presence and the double molly, though, to make life easy. But with Leo securing first blood there on towards short, that should pretty much guarantee a plant for the T side. Quick kill comes through in response, but even then, the after plants are solid. As long as shots are landed with this AWP, then we are done deal. Will be a quick trade. And still, so far, so good. Leo, unfortunately, unable to do anything. Leaving just his teammate now with the bomb not planted for him. A bitter end here, to be honest, after what was a fairly solid round from Sharks. And I'll put Isurus back up to 2 here as they begin to thin the gap. Sharks pretty much going to spend their final few dollars here for their last 4-buy, and then we'll see an eco come through. They are going to start to be helped by a little bit of loss bonus if they continue dropping rounds in the way they are, but that'll only start to kick in a measurable impact in the next 1 or 2 rounds. As you can see, though, really only left with 2,000 on RCF, 1,750 on NAC, the rest basically have got nothing left, so the coffers have been emptied. Sharks going to start to feel the reliance on taking this 8th round, securing, of course, that lead. Got a fairly good gap now of 3, but if they can get it back to 4 and start to grow it again, that will make them feel quite comfortable. Well, it looks like Isurus are having a bit of a resurgence here. That only continues to take hold. There's lower tunnels now, being the main avenue here, with Noxie bearing down on them with the AWP. That could prove to be difficult as the flash was thrown, the peek comes in, but the shot is missed. That is unlike Noxie. He's been on it all of the first map, and then here, another blunder as he looks into lower tunnels. Could have been a great opportunity to bag that first blood. Instead, all it is a quick shot to the chest. But snacked out of 27 HP. Aggression, though, from numbers could prove to be quite interesting, given the lack of long control. With the high flash, that opens up for the first entry attempt, but Noxie just going to back away rather sensibly. Starting to hope that Numbers decides to push through doors now, because he could be huge if he got behind short. Here we go though, the push begins. Leo securing entry number 1, looking for the second, and there you have it, already doing enough damage to Noxie to push him back, and this looks a little stuck, to be honest. Nade will come through, but doesn't find a single kill, only does the damage to Leo. And that should guarantee the save of Maxim Reversive, and most importantly though, guaranteeing that 4-round lead for Sharks, keeping them well and truly in the game, nice and comfortable with the lead of course. Putting them on to 6 rounds and one step closer to at least guaranteeing that half victory. Pretty smart time, honestly, to call a pause. I was kind of hoping that would be the case. Just take a moment to talk. I mean, at the end of the day, you have, you put your right foot forward. You picked up map number 1, so everything's kind of going your way in the grand scheme of the whole best of 3. Unfortunately, you've not had the greatest of starts in map 2, but if you're Isurus, it's a good time just to try and call that pause to try and figure things out a little bit. You know, it's only 2-6, the gap isn't huge. I think, you know, Shark's definitely going to be happy they've managed to continue to hold it, given that they had a few hairy moments. They did lose a few. But keeping it at a 4-round gap is definitely going to help them out, as it really just keeps them in control, I think, of this first half. Moxie, let him rip with the Orc, somehow has the cheek for a double. Holding my breath though, Sharks do have a good position here towards top mid, and that could mean that Numbers loses his life and we start to see a bit more of a favourable situation here for all the T side. Doesn't look like that'll be the case though. I mean, eventually group up. We also see Numbers get a little bit more passive now that the 2-man advantage have been put in play, and I think this makes life a lot more difficult now. That's a good pick with the Orc, but will it be enough? All you've done there is, yes, get the kill, but you've also cemented your opposition that you're pushing along. Now, the double smoke play there has been wonderful for them. They've been able to get across fairly comfortably. Pass, but again, it's the Orc. Another double kill, reversive, just holding down the trigger, spraying away as they make their advance. The USP to steal away the final frag, as Isurus guaranteed themselves, at minimum, a 3rd round on the board for their CT side. The question is just how repeatable is that? 2 huge plays, 2 double kills on each player. Is that something that we'll consistently see out of them as we finish up the rest of this first half? Already into round 10 now. The pause is called, one of a technical nature. That will put a bit of a halt on the game. Hopefully one that doesn't last just too long here. I'm going to take a look at the pings and such. That will help us out. I know there's been a couple of ping issues and a keyboard issue and a couple other things, but it looks like everyone is fairly happy. Can't really complain at 5 ping. Obviously, it tends to be more to it than that, so let's just let them wrap this one up and we can dive right back into this matchup here. There we go, lovely and quick. Just what we like to see. Nice flash, high long. That gives them a bit of early control. Sharks, meanwhile, though, going for what's worked for them, to be honest. Quick aggression up through short. All in all, though, barely basic default. Let's see, will get himself a 1, but Mayo almost caught just in an awkward one there. Lets his teammate die right in front of him. Imagine we're not even going to see Isurus have a crack at this now. The minute they were able to get that entry on towards B, the round pretty much fell away from them. Never really comfortable to do a 2-on-3 retake on B. Arguably, even 2v2 is quite a tough crack because it's just really hard. You've got such limited choke points. Great afterplants available, typically always going to have a player in exits position. Then it'll either be an aggressive tunnel spot or just having someone on site. The only curveball could have been the AWP, but that's assuming it's a 2v2. In this case, you've got a 3rd player to support you. And he is in tunnels, which just makes things even worse, unfortunately, for Isurus. So a smart play, they will back away and save. And a great situation for Sharks. I mean, we see time and time again, Isurus will find a round, a single round. And the Sharks will step back, win 1 or 2, and continue to extend their lead. And at this point, if this continues to happen, I think Sharks are laughing, to be honest, because they're guaranteed 11-4, pretty much. see a question from Rio Seco. Mr. Caster, are you from... I'm not from that place. I'm not going to say it because I don't know if that's a place or anything. And I've ran into these traps many times the last few days. But I'm from the UK. As you can probably tell from the rather British accent. And this is second map for those of you who are just joining us. 16-11, map 1 for Isurus. Xbox now going to be where we see the first major duels take place. It'll be fairly back and forth. Both teams going to shed some blood, but in the end, Sharks will come out on top in this 3-on-3. You know, the downside for them is they gain no map control for their duel. They don't even get a player up short. That may work out, though, for them if they can use his AWP to carve out a pick onto someone like Numbers, because he's going to be looking to spot that short push. Because he's trying to spot it, that opens up that angle for the AWP. With that said, though, it's a whole bunch of question marks. Lots of what-ifs. Instead, though, Sharks, they go for their bread-and-butter play. Of course it's A-long. Of course they've got the 2 smokes. They've done this time and time again, and it's worked out wonderfully. The only problem here is that AWP looks like going to be there. Secures at least the first and just immediately backs away. And Sharks, they won't even test it. They just abandon completely. Sure, they get the return fire through the door, but even then, I'm just a little concerned now. The smoke, smart decision, but Moxie just absolutely times Yunak. Just counting as they walk through the smoke, picks up the kill. From Eriks, it just has to rush for the plant now. 6 seconds remain. Now he's forced into it. 2 players alive, 1 player standing for the T side. It doesn't matter if you get the frag. You're not going to find him. And even when you do, it's too little too late. Is this the third map? No, this is the second map. The series score right now is 1-0 in favour of Isurus. After we saw Train go their way 16-11 after 11-4 half. Did see a slight resurgence from Sharks, but overall Isurus were able to keep it on lock and get it done. Now, of course, we're on Dust 2, and if this goes the way of Sharks, we will be seeing a third and final map, which will be Mirage. And the winner of this series will, in fact, immediately qualify for the Americas Minors. So it's a pretty huge matchup, all things considered. Ready, double kill claimed on the site, nade back site as well, reverse him, trying to see if he can stay alive, but thankfully nothing will land. Instead, he decides, you know what boys, it's the USP, that's all I need. Whips it out, gets it done. I can't believe he's just got a quad kill there. It really is quite something. The AUG just doesn't quite do it all for him. Picks up the first flurry of kills with it, but nothing left in the chamber. Sure thing, USP's got it done for me instead. I think it was a double kill with the pistol in the end. Bit of a dramatic way to win the round, I suppose. Really enjoying some of the comments I'm seeing in chat. They are quite something. You guys certainly have a sense of humour. This one fairly clean. We will see a little bit of shenanigans from RCF. He'll try his best to get something. I think it's actually winnable. How is this winnable? Surely not. The fact he's able to get the double kill on the site is quite surprising, but it does some good damage. But we shouldn't be seeing Leo glocking someone. And that's rough, Isurus. Mistakes just slipping through once more as Aversive now tries to hold on. No idea where they're going. I imagine he'll know sooner rather than later that it's going to be an A play. We'll be getting sort of immediately on towards long. That might work out for him as RCF depending on timing. Really what it's going to boil down to now. Oh, he's holding the off angle, waiting for the push, creeping on in. Walks up face first. It couldn't have been easier. Couldn't have been easier of a shot to hit. Wing Wong, that's what we're all about. Got no issues with a bit of chat interaction here and there, just I try not to let it take away from the game too much, but at the same time, when we're doing these solo casts, I think it's a good way to keep things a little fresh for you guys. It also just changes it up a little bit. We see a lot of the sort of the standard style of commentary, I think, the more broadcast style where a lot of the major tournaments, so it's nice to see a little bit more of a casual approach in these ones, I'm sure. Especially when it's a solo cast as well. You don't want to hear me casting it like it's the major final. That said, though, we do have to give it the hype and appreciation it deserves. There's a fine line, that's for sure. Gotta do it justice. Both teams had a pretty good run through this close qualifier. Isurus not dropping a single map. Sharks as well, taking down some pretty talented teams. We definitely had quite a tough run. I'm really curious, to be honest, to see how these teams perform in the minor. Nearly got a little hairy, dinking his teammate, I believe. Nonetheless, though, they do get the first pick. Shot as well with the AWP onto those pushing through CT. Going to make life a little difficult, make it a double kill, in fact, as they're unable to break through. Leaving just maxed out once again on his own. He'll just hunker down in CT, I imagine. Wait and see if anyone pushes his direction, which, well, they definitely will. The question is, will he be able to get a kill? There are two orcs there ready and waiting. He'll find the one. The second will finish him off. Clown, baby. Yeah, I had a feeling it would sort of go towards an 11-4 way, but I haven't quite seen Sharks able to collect the rounds that we'd expect. They lost just a couple of weird ones here and there. For the most part, though, I still think they've been fairly steady. Well, let's bear in mind they just got 2 kills with an auto sniper. They're now shuffling around weapons and such, but all in all, I think Sharks have had a pretty good T-side. Isurus getting a couple of solid double kills and really just having players step up. This could have been a lot worse. Nonetheless, 10-5 should be in the bag here. Just a Deagle and a CZ now in their way. We are going to see the rotation coming from the rear. Moxie seeing what he can do with the CZ here, but not a single player looking at him. Actually might mean he can do something. Problem is, they're going to turn around eventually. The fact he gets 3 is always quite theatrical, to be honest. If there was one more player alive, I'd say this is winnable, but the problem is it's still just that Deagle, and he's got no way to scavenge a weapon here. Smart call as well, shuffle out for the AK. I mean, it's the last round, doesn't matter what you save. Just take the best duel you can. And there you have it, 10-5 half, going to be locked in here for Sharks. I think they're going to be pretty happy with that, to be honest. As I said, it could have been a lot better for them. They did let a few rounds slip through the cracks. Likewise, I think Isurus as well had a couple of awkward moments where they really could have been able to capitalise on things. But the result is still as we see. 10-5. Sharks looking to take map 2 and force us to a third. It all comes down now to the second half. It's kind of awkward to see them get ecoed. I can see a lot of reference to that in the chat. That was definitely not one of the prettiest rounds, that's for sure. Nonetheless, in the pistol here now. Going to see the Xbox smoke come through. Isurus yet to really bite on anything, though. They are just going to sit tight in lower tunnels. Support from top mid as well, as Noxie is just going to be jump spotting through door. Finally prompts for the push, though. I imagine they are going to push through and just spot it out, see if anyone is playing close. They still have the choice to push short, which would be the better play given that we obviously know there is a B stack in effect. Start to push Leo back. They're going to double back to B. This is going to be awkward, boys. Don't do it. You are walking into a stat. Sharks have read it like a book. They are totally ready for it. As long as they can land their shots, this should be an easy one. You start to get a little aggressive. They will lose a first player off the back of it, but as they walk into the site, they just get completely tapped down. Exit doing all of the work so far. I'm going to finish things off with a beautiful quad kill. Isurus just walking right into Sharks there. It's uncomfortable to watch, but the result is as we see. 11 on the board now. A great way for Sharks to start the second half, and a great way for them to really try and push forward to what they hope will be a 12-5 here. Of course, not a complete write-off for Isurus. They do have Kevlar and play backing these pistols, but still some very tough duels that they'll have to make. Slow and steady. Once more the approach. You would have heard those words many a time in this series. Rather accurately sums up the T side of Isurus. Though, with the positions of Sharks, you can't help but think this should be a fairly comfortable one for them. Not going to see the mid push come through, and the MP9 is ready and waiting. No jump to be made, which means he can just basically hold down left click here and try and connect what he can. Good for a double. Will be traded in the end by the scout. Still, the double kill holding things down somewhat. Let's see what he can do. Car. Oh, absolutely nothing. That allows for the bomb plant. Still, 3 on 2 though. The retake. Now what we're looking for. Versive going to be deep into tunnels. Just looking for T. Gets the jump on him. That equalises the number somewhat, but not long before Leo makes the push through window. A little too close for comfort there. Exit will finish things off, but only just catching him on timing. Not quite sure Versive expected his 4th player, a 4th potential kill immediately after the 3rd. But still, a triple kill for him. At least secures a plant for his team. Not all bad for Isurus, but the problem is the scoreline, right? I mean, they have limited cash here, so it likely is going to be Pistols Kevlar again. The fact is, Sharks could be 13-5. It's going to take a hell of a comeback for Isurus. Looking out towards long, we're going to see the flash execute. And there'll be a smoke there lined up as well. Obviously, we'll see the double flash over long. That helps them just peek the corner. Meanwhile, the smoke through CT, allowing them just to push and prod a little bit towards mid. This time around, instead of doubling back towards the B site, instead they actually commit, make the push happen. All mean first blood goes their way. Still is equalised out, and that leaves us here 4 on 4. Bomb plant to be found. Sharks completely off the site, but the question is, do they go for the retake? I mean, they've got a good bit of utility here. They're going to take some short control, so that will help them with their decision at least. Just see how that goes first, I suppose. Problem is, all 4 players from the same place. That's a little sketch. I mean, you're using overwhelming numbers, sure, but once it's spotted, Isurus should just be able to work around it. Notsy doing some good damage. You see the drop coming towards CT, but look, one good flash is literally all it took. And that's the problem with all going the same place. The CT player only good for a single kill before he's traded as well from the player in long. Just all lines up. One good round, though, out of many bad ones, to be honest, for Isurus. They will have to continue to up their game here if they want to bring this one back. It's still 12-6. And if history tells us anything, this is going to be another round for Sharks, and we're going to see them get an eco win or anything of the sort. We'll see 13-6, 14-6, and really a genuine shot at closing this one out. Case and point. Scout through the door in mid. Noxie is going to be shooting himself after that one. Very unhappy. Versive will at least trade it back, may earn as well. So the B site has been taken, but yeah, imagine no one wants to get scouted through a door. Still, though, it looks like they have managed to steal out the round just by being smart, hitting the B site. Sharks realising a retake probably not too possible when you've got a scout in play. Just a 5-7 and AK, not exactly the greatest of combinations. Saving it, of course, for round 20. Cash is fairly critical, I think, for the CT side. Just playing it safe, and ultimately they've got the rounds to work with as well. They've got a bit of bandwidth. So, really not too surprised to see them back away from this one. Isurus welcoming in their 7th round here. Moving to our second half. A good chunk of rounds through the half now, and to be honest, we've only seen a small bit of light from this team side. There's a lot more to go, and really the question is, will they be consistent now? Really better grind their way back. Seeing a lot of talk regarding the bets in chat, so no better time to let you know an update on the odds. You can see, of course, it's 2.6 now versus the 1.45. I wish we could see some live odds for the duel down mid. Fortunately, the kill isn't going to come through. Of course, those odds all found on GGBet. You can get involved over on GGBet with bets for all of the minor matches ahead of the StarLadder Major, running right through until mid-September. With that said, it's going to be an Isurus round, folks. Pretty much a 5-man save here from Sharks. They'll set up massively for the exit frags out into T-spawn as Isurus just walk their way on towards B. No questions asked. Obviously, Sharks just looking for a bit of a gamble play, and it didn't work out this time. But still, as I said, they've got the bandwidth. More than enough rounds to work with. I don't think they'll be panicking anytime soon. Come on, guys, let's keep it friendly in the chat. We're all here to watch some CS at the end of the day. I know you're passionate about your teams, especially for those of you that are representing them from their respective home countries, but still, let's make sure to keep it all friendly at the end of the day. Recommend reading MBK's birthday post on that note. It was actually, it was fairly nice to see a pro player take that approach, I think. For those of you who don't know, MBK turned 30 today, and his only request for his birthday to the community was that everyone took an extra step to be kinder to one another on the day, whether it was just reading it as it was, whether it was giving food to a homeless person, or whatever it may be, even just saying hello to someone and being a kind person in general. I think that's it's a fairly nice approach from MBK, and accurately sums up, I think, what I'm trying to portray to chat, which is just be nice to one another. I'm probably tackling Mission Impossible by saying that, but still, it is what it is. Of course, the full buy here, though, taking a hold. Early Molotovs used towards A-Long as Max and co will just push out a little bit, trying to see what they can find, but after finding nothing at all, they will fall back and start to really regroup towards the B play that Mayern will be leading, which works out wonderfully given that they've all rotated away and the only support there is going to be Knack. So if Isurus up the pace here, they're going to go on to an empty site, which, if the smokes are on point, will be a massive boon for them. It just goes really downhill from here, I think, for Sharks. Oh, they're committed. The utility usage that was thrown through mid has literally committed them. Double molly on short now. They're continuing to expect it to be this A play. They just almost want Isurus just to contact out B at this point. I mean, they're waiting for the mid to B, which is fairly smart. They won't, of course, know that only one player is there as the deep smoke is thrown, but here the double flash will come through. Now we will see the mid push as well. Back turn from Knack, and the site's empty. Voila! A pleasant surprise for Isurus. Going to get another kill for their troubles, and Mayern holds down the fort in mid. And Molly as well in front of the smoke, and to further deny the round. The Sharks already communicating that it will be a save. It's round 21. It's going to go the way of Isurus, and this starts to thin the gap a little too close to my liking now. Sharks have gone from holding, 5 or 6 rounds distance to letting Isurus come within 3. See, Jaylee has the right idea. You gotta be respectful. Tacos or burgers? That's a good question. I feel like I'm more of a burrito man, though. I'll tell you what, if there's one thing I recall from my trip to Brazil, is the beef in Brazil. And actually, I think, to be fair, I think it applies to Argentina as well from what I've heard, but from experience, the beef in Brazil is really quite incredible. The Brazilian barbecue we had was quite something during WSG. As said, fairly significant round here now, 9-12, as I said. Sharks really letting the gap come a little too close for comfort. Isurus having a fairly good run of it on their T side, but will they continue to be consistent? That is the question we're all looking to answer. And if we knew, then, well, you'd all be making a lot of money over on GGBet, of course. Our wonderful partners for this tournament. That said, we're going to see the push begin to take shape here. Instead, catching one, looking for the second as well, will be instantly traded. It's going to get a little hairy on the ramp towards B, but in the end, it's Sharks that come out on top as only Maxu remains. He'll be finished off by RCF, and that's a Sharks round for you. They will move up to 13. Unfortunately for them, they've got a little bit of bad news. They've let Isurus grow up their bank, massively so. Have a 10k on reversive, means that it's going to be an easier rebuy for them. And potentially a chance to actually reset Sharks here. Already a fairly bit of time expended after the first pick. I think Sharks feeling pretty comfortable so far, especially when they know that it's going to be an A play. Just seeing that little head peep through the smoke. They might not be as certain as I am, though. I think that they might have rotated a player away, if that is the case. Yeah, just to say that you can start to see Knack just move his way down, at least to cover the mid to B, which is smart. With all this utility being used, I think at this point you've got to expect it to be an A play. We're going to come flying on through. Elbow to be held as well. Sat will be cleared on out. So far, so good. But the mollies are causing a problem. 14 HP. What you're going to walk away on as the kills start coming back in favour of Sharks. So far, so good. There's 2. Looking for a 3rd. And Max is so low. He should be dead any second now. As the Yorp will finish things off. Pushing Sharks onto 14. Just 2 more required now. Before we can head over to our 3rd map. The good old sunny, but sandy, Mirage. are going to see a well-timed tactical be thrown here, so at least an opportunity just to think things through somewhat. Seeing a lot of questions about sort of AUG versus M4. Effectively what it boils down to is, I think people are realizing the M4 is not all that good. With the AUG at the price point it is at, it's actually a fairly great, well, to be honest, it is a great weapon. Relatively close range, sort of mid to close range. It can do one-shot headshots. The damage it can do at a long range is huge. You know, you can often find yourself getting 2Ks, 3Ks a lot easier with an AUG, and that's something that a pro player is, a couple of pros in fact have said on social media, is that they've found scenarios where they've been able to get double kills a lot easier with the AUG than they otherwise would have with the M4. Of course, the M4 needing those 2 shots to the dome to put someone down, regardless of what happens with the AUG. And just be that little bit stronger. Also, the other thing to mention is the fairly obvious one. It's got the zoom. And a lot of damage comes from the armor pen as well. So it's a good gun though. I think, you know, its current form, there is a bit of variation between those who buy the M4 versus those who buy the AUG. Perhaps could do with a little bit more of a tweak, but only time will tell. At least we're starting to see some experimentation with the meta. Confirming, folks, the next map is Mirage. I have the Veto in front of me. With that said, we're back into this one now. If you have just joined us, 14-9 is the state of play. Sharks looking to bag themselves a second map victory, forcing us to a third map overall. 16-11 was the score on Train, favouring Isurus in map number 1. Now here in round 24, the situation is as follows. Both teams on a full buy utility. Pretty much stocked up on both sides as well. For all intents and purposes, it's a fairly even round, but it is also going to be the round that I think decides the outcome of the game. So far, so good. A 1-for-1 trade. This will favour the T side, but all things considered, the positions from the CT side are working out rather well for them. Another kill comes in from the AWP, and that will likely be further push from the success of exit here with the AUG as well. If he can get out of the angle. So far, so good. There you go. RCF from long to come in and clean things up, and that'll put Sharks to 15. A lot more scrappy play from Isurus here now, having to pick up the 2 UMPs. Not all bad, but I think that will encourage them to potentially get a little more aggressive. We'll have to see. Flash comes over, nice and high. Allows them to peek down through long, but seeing nothing as the approach from Isurus is once more just 2 lower tunnels, 1 upper B. I mean, this is literally the bog standard T default. Just isn't working out for them. Getting picked off once more from the AWP. Could even be a second killer through the flash. The answer is no. But even then, the damage is done. 63 on numbers, 81 on reversive. He will even group towards short once again. More damage done by a lovely deep nade. It just goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? RCF bagging just a pick. That will really only further just lock in the win condition here for Sharks. We will see the trade, but still at a disadvantage. Looking to squeeze their way out through long. Enemy shots from the AUG, just peppering them down. Really just not working out for the Mayor, now up against 3. And also has to go and retake the bomb position. knowing likely there's going to be players in CT. Try to drop down and take control of them, but not going to happen. Sharks, surprisingly, deliver a stellar performance, especially on their CT side. They were fairly clean. I think, I was a little worried early on their first half as well, given the T side was looking pretty shaky sort of around round 7 and round 10 as well. But they were able to pull through both of those rounds, deny a real string coming together for Isurus, and in the end it resulted in what you see, a 16-9 victory, map 3 at least secured. That's what the minor spot will all come down to. Bear in mind, folks, if Isurus were to lose this series, they can go through to the lower bracket run and compete there. Likewise for Sharks as well.